So in my career, many people come and ask me, how do I get better at understanding color and light? It seems a mystery to me. And when I was growing up, it was too. I was okay with the pencil. I learned how to draw. And my whole world was formed around 2D value-based thinking. Light and dark. Simple. It's a great way to start. We simplify things down. But how do you get your brain to branch into color and light? And I have found one trick that is more effective than all the others, or it's the quickest way, I think, to really understand color and light as fast as you can. So you can start applying it to any artwork you create and to be able to have really nice colors and how to pick them. But this one is the one that I'm starting this whole thing off with. And this is simple color studies. I think there's two parts to our brain. Probably why you're watching YouTube videos on how to get better at art. There's the analytical side of our brain. And the analytical side is where you think about things. This is where you take classes. This is where you learn. Most people have gone to school, and your brain is like, this is where you learn. You learn, you learn, you learn. But when it comes to art, I think there's two sides to this. There's the analytical side, and there's the intuitive side. And art needs both. It's right there in the middle. How do you train your eye to really understand what looks good and why does it look good? Not just analytically, but intuitively, so that you know when you do a brush stroke, when you move a light source, when you go and do photography, how do you find what looks good versus what doesn't look good? And it's a mix of both. I remember when I first started work at Pixar many years ago, every Friday morning we'd get together for an hour, we'd set up a still life of something like an egg in a bowl, and we would paint it. Everybody stand around it, get different angles. This was the final result of an hour. So we do it in 1 hour, quick study, color study, material study. You would see textures, you'd see light. It was amazing. And we did this week after week. Crumpled paper, a teapot, and sugar cubes. It started with a sketch, started to blob in some color, get rid of the sketch, kind of refine it along, and then here's the final result. Bottles and reflective surfaces, all kinds of different things. Anything we could find. Everybody would bring in different things, and we would study subsurface scattering and the way light bounces and the way surfaces work and the way light works. And it was amazing. There's so many things that I learned to take that knowledge of light and color and turn it into the intuitive side. I start to naturally know how to paint scratches on a surface or wrinkles or subsurface. And I get better and better at it. And it's like exercising. You start little, you're going to have to put in the work. And this is where, if you really want to understand color and light, this is the way to do it. And it can be fun and really simple. After doing this for several years, I started to want to find story in it. So I put little characters in there. I put faces on things. This is a photograph of, what our setup was. And then, here's me painting it. And then I threw a little story in there. I like to call this one skinny dipping. Fast, quick, dirty, just study things. Do paintings of simple things. It was super fun. And this is what I want to encourage you to do. And we will do together. Then I took this and started applying it elsewise. Not just lighting a still life in front of me, but getting out into nature, going and sitting in front of a waterfall. Can I capture something that's in motion? Can I draw things? Not just draw things, not like just drawing people, again, with lines. This is studying the color and the light. What am I actually seeing? You don't see lines. When we draw a person, we're drawing lines. You're not actually seeing that. How about you draw exactly what you see? The shapes of color and light that's bouncing into your eyes. I remember walking to work every day, and I would take a picture on my phone of the different light as I walked down this big hill, and I'd look at it in snowy weather and in sunny weather and in the summer and in the spring and in the fall and in different type of weather conditions, and then do paintings off of that to really sink it in, to study exactly what color am I seeing, this is an amazing thing that we can try. I went out into forests and then starting to learn how to see more, how to see themes of color and light, and to go, I think it would look better if there was a little bit more fog than what I'm seeing, so I'm going to paint in some more fog. I've experienced doing illustration. I'm going to merge reality and start blending things and seeing something better. One thing that I really loved about doing color studies with other people was that we'd all be painting the same thing, and then at the end we'd walk around and see what each other did, and we're like, whoa, you saw something totally different. You changed these colors. And the artist would be like, yeah, I just kind of felt like these colors would be better. And it made it look awesome. And I loved learning from other people. The next thing with color studies is not just painting from real life, but painting other people's illustrations, painting classic paintings. I remember traveling to France and going into the Louvre and seeing people that would bring in whole canvases and paint sets, and they were allowed to sit there and copy the masters. And it's been something that's been done for hundreds of years, and I think we often forget. This is a way where we learn, we do it, we copy it, we see how other artists work, we see and study. So this is superpowers we're talking here. And then I started coloring from photos. I travel and take pictures and then come back and do color studies of them. Make it really fast. Try to do something in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe an hour. You could take a couple of hours if you want, but just really fast. Study what exactly makes this appealing. Then, if pandemic time, this is perfect. You can study off of photos. Take a photograph and then try to make a copy of it. Where can it go? This is where it gets exciting, because I think one of the things that's very discouraging for artists is you start drawing and you're like, I want to do amazing concept art. I want to do illustrations, things that inspire me from movies. And I have terrible stick figures. So where can it go? Doing little studies, doing your push-ups, doing your sit-ups, eventually will lead to greater tone and strength and muscles here. It'll switch your knowledge from analytical into that intuitive side. And this is where you can really thrive, and it can be exciting. So for me, I started doing color studies, and eventually got to the point where I could take a composition and I could color it lots of different ways. And these were 10 minutes each, and learn to steal light from other photographs and apply it to your situation, and be able to take one thing and see it from all different types of light sources. You can make illustrations, the same illustration, done multiple different ways to really explore this. And this can be fast and iterative. And it doesn't have to be a painstakingly long process. You can do it really quickly. And that's why I think this is the best way to learn about color and light. With this group that got together, we would eventually try new things to go, well, now you've studied all these real world objects. Why not take the line art from a coloring book, or from a children's story, and turn it into something that the world has never seen? And this, to me, is exciting. And it got to the point that, in my work, I was working on Ratatouille, and I got the opportunity to light sequences that didn't have any art that went along with it, and I got to do my own color keys. This was so amazing. Or I even went back just for the fun of it and went back to a sequence I had worked on way back in my career and redid new color keys to go, what would it look like if it was done differently, if it was thought at a different time of day? This type of stuff is super fun. Take that same idea, spend more time, refine more details, and build full illustrations. So this is kind of where it can go. I went freelance and I got to paint the cover of the Lego magazine, that went worldwide. This was so cool, and it was just from learning to understand light and color and how to paint faster, better, cleaner, to refine this process. And it's really the same process that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you what I do so that you can learn to do things like this. So let's get down to it. What are we going to paint? So the best way to start with this is to go really simple. Find an object, a simple object, put it somewhere, take a picture of it. We're going to copy this picture. A banana, an apple, an egg. Eggs are fantastic. They're really simple shapes. We're studying color and light and how light wraps around surfaces and how light affects surfaces and their local color. Start really simple with this. Put it in sunlight. What does it do? What are the colors? What is the difference? Take that same apple that was on the table and put it on the carpet in the sunlight. The highlights, the bounce light, the light side, the shadow side, what does light and color do? Looking for just pretty objects in your house might lead you astray. Let's avoid noise. This would be a nightmare to paint because there's just tons of noise in this and you can't really see the light and color. You're going to get lost into the details of the object itself. Surprisingly, something as simple as like a shoe sounds like it would be great to paint, but careful, this could be a trap too of shapes, forms, and texture. Let's avoid that. We're not seeing a lot of interesting light and color on this, so until you're better at the basics, I would avoid something like this. Eventually, sure, if you want to paint a shoe, paint a shoe. Avoiding things flatly lit. There's a lot of texture in it. We're not doing texture studies quite yet. We will get to that, but as a beginning, let's start with something really, really simple. Really cool texture, the way these vines grow up this tree, but no, this would take forever. Just shoot me now. No, thank you. Let's come back to the banana. Simple objects. Banana is a yellow object. Look at what the light does as it wraps around it. We could do this. A banana in sunlight. A banana close to sunlight but out of the sunlight. A salt lamp. This could be a really cool one. We should definitely do something like this. This one would be a great one to paint because there's interesting color. Now, there's texture in here, but we're going to learn to simplify down to light and color. In the end, I think that great starting point will be an egg. There's a lot of interesting things that are happening with color and light in this, and it might not seem exciting to paint, but trust me, let's give this one a try. So I'm going to stop here, and then in the next video, we're going to paint this egg. So thanks for watching. I hope this is useful.